This isn't the kind of video I would normally do. This isn't planned. This is running on me being pissed off, basically, because I just got a message from my friend saying, "Oh yeah, I spoke to your sister recently. Asked how you were, and she started slagging you off." Um, Very interesting because I've spent the last week lying in a bed, basically not being able to go any further than my lounge where I am now, because I'm just, yeah, I'm coming to the end of my life, and it's becoming very apparent now. She did it at the worst possible time because literally over the past few days, my stepmom Judy has been very close to town. She wanted to see me. Too sick, couldn't see her. Um, my friend Mike has arranged something really awesome for us to do this weekend. One once in a lifetime type thing. I can't do it. I'm not well enough. Um, my best friend from my childhood, Joel, is down over the next few weeks. I'm probably not going to be able to see him because I'm too sick. And towards the end of the month, one of my very best friends, Alex, is getting married, and I can't make it to his wedding. It's just not realistic. It's not going to happen. So at the moment, I'm not in the best of moods. And to hear this brain dead little bitch has been slagging me off completely unprompted out of nowhere when she's the one that cut me off at the only point in my life when I've needed her. Yeah, I'm not going to let it happen because she gets off on people feeling sorry for her. She always has done. She loves people feeling sorry for her. I don't know why. I've never really had people feel sorry for me until the past few years. It's not a good feeling. I don't like it. I am not really someone that doesn't get on with people outside of work anyway. I've certainly had a lot of issues with people within my jobs, but there's only a handful of times personally I've been really, really hurt. Uh, I hired a really good mate at one of my jobs and he stole from the company. That really personally hurt me. Uh, After a 5 year relationship ended, while we were still living together, the next day, my girlfriend went on slut apps. Um, that's the thing that's hurt me second most, but they pale in comparison to what my sister did. So let me give you a little bit of history. When we were kids living in Hastings, anyone that knows her knows that she's a weirdo. She's just a weird person, not socially adjusted. Um, in junior school, she used to get bullied, and sometimes walking home, and you know, I said brother, so I would stop the bullies. Got myself beaten up a fair few times. Don't really matter. I protect her that way. And then when we went, we moved away, went somewhere else. And obviously, she still got herself bullied when we were a little bit older. I nearly got myself suspended for fighting back the people that were bullying her, um, because I threw someone in the river. That was fun. Uh, and yeah, basically just brother stuff. You got to look out for your little sister, and she's a natural victim. She makes herself the victim. Um, so yeah, just basically to show you that this isn't a new thing. Even when she was a kid, I was looking after her. We had a very unpleasant stepdad who used to scare her, and he was not very nice. I used to defend her and look out for her and protect her there. Um, just nothing too brutal, but stuff that could be a bit scary. Even sometimes our actual dad, when he drunk, could be a bit scary. And yeah, I just would just look after her and make sure she was all right. And then a few years later, my parents moved to France. My sister, well, my mum and stepdad moved to France, and my sister went with them. I moved to Salisbury because I had a few friends I'd met via work. And then one day, like a year in or something, I got a phone call saying, "Oh yeah, your sister's like had all her money stolen, and she doesn't know what to do." Turns out that she had moved to the same city as me, Salisbury, and no one even told me. I had no idea she lived in the same city as me. Um, I thought she was still living in France, and yeah, so I found out what was going on. I bailed her out, paid thousands and thousands of pounds so she could still pay rent and give her back a significant portion of the money that she had lost. Um, and also nearly got myself stabbed talking to these people. genuinely had to get the police involved. Um, Again, no thanks or anything, but you don't do it for thanks. You do it because it's your sister, and she's stupid, gets herself in these situations. So that happened then, and then I just happened to move from my little one-bedroom flat to a house that I had got at the time. Sorry, excuse cuts like that. This cancer is all in my lungs, and it makes it hard for me to breathe and talk sometimes. Um, anyway, so because I had a spare room, I let my sister move in with me. Let her stay free for a year or so, and then I was like, okay, right, you need to start paying rent. Not a lot at first, but enough, My girlfriends were not happy to have this weird little person living with me, and to be fair, it was. I'm never someone that's wanted kids, and having Katie live with me was confirmed that for me because she was like, it's not like having a housemate, it was like being a parent. Eventually, I decided to leave Salisbury and move to Bournemouth. Um, she decided to come with me, uh, gave her the spare room, and I decided, look, if I'm going to have her with me here, I'm cleaning up after her, mess in the kitchen, mess everywhere, and also, it's seriously cramping my stuff. Even at the time I was dating the most reasonable person you could be dating, and even she was just sometimes a little bit, well, more than a little bit put off by having Katie around the house, but whatever. So I had her there, basically parenting her. I did quite a lot to give her confidence and try and boost her. Um, I wasn't including her in everything, but what I could. I noticed she never saw anyone, never did anything, never had any friends. So I started to take her away for her birthdays because on her birthday she would just sit in her room by herself all the time. So I'd take her to Tenerife, um, a few other places. But yeah, it's wonderful to her. She's anyone that spent time with her knows she's not the most fun person to be around, but I think it meant a lot to her, and I could afford it. But at this point, I was charging her more and more for rent because I was being a parent. I wasn't being a landlord, as it were. It was starting to get a little bit tiring having her around, but I was still, taking her away, stuff like that, just for special days, even trips to London, just because I felt sorry for her, basically. And because I'd split up with my girlfriend and I was still quite new with the other girlfriend, I had a trip to Dubai that my lovely older brother and his wife invited me and my girlfriend to. Obviously, I couldn't take my girlfriend because we just split up. So I thought, you know what, I'll invite Katie instead. She'd appreciate it. And I was like, okay, you have to pay for the ticket because she's someone that doesn't really pay for much. She never really pays. She'll do anything she can to not pay. For example, whenever she used to go and see my mum, she would have all the flights and stuff paid for her. No idea why, because she was working. The money that I'd put aside to give to my brother and his wife at the end of the trip, I ended up having to spend on Katie because she didn't bring a penny. She said she had no money. So I had to, everything that she needed from that 2 week holiday, I had to pay for her. Um, Admittedly, my brother paid for almost everything, but the money that I'd set aside for him had to go on her, which was really freaking awkward at the time. Um, and I felt really bad about that. It put me in a bit of an awkward situation, and it put my brother in an awkward situation. But they're lovely, they're friendly. Excuse the cuts, just stop being able to talk properly. And so basically, got back. The relationship I was in was going very well. Um, my girlfriend at the time really wasn't happy with Katie being around. Uh, I was sick of it at the end of the day, just because of the mess everywhere. Just in your 30s, you don't want to be a parent to your sister. um, Unbelievably, online, of course, on dating sites. Unbelievably, in her 30s, she actually found a boyfriend. God knows how. And you know, he'll admit he's a weirdo, but he's nice. He's a nice guy. I met his brother and his dad. They're both very nice. I liked them as a family, um, and he actually cared about her. And I was like, finally, someone that can look after her. It's a little bit of pressure off me. So that was really good. My girlfriend was getting really sick of having Katie around, and finally, I was at the point where after they'd been together for a fair amount of time, I was at the point where you know what, I can probably at this point ask her to move on, and she won't be my responsibility. So I told her she had to move out, gave her plenty of time, um, knowing that he would help her and hopefully they would move in together soon enough, which did happen. But of course, ignoring the fact that I'd spent a decade looking after her and letting her live with me, I was suddenly the most evil person in the world because I'd asked her to move out. So that was that was nice to have. And then time went on. I saw them a little bit. Anyone that knows me knows I'm not the best communicator in the world, but we didn't not see each other. She was, her first ever relationship. Um, when my dad died, he left us some money. And we'd already discussed this with him when he come down a few years previously and discussed his will. Um, the money was for me. He wanted me to use it for something fun because he knows that I'm too sensible with money. Most of it would go in savings or on property or whatever. So yeah, I did. I went and traveled Canada for a long time. That was really good fun. And it was the right thing to do, particularly because not that long later I got diagnosed and basically spent my life in hospital and 2 rooms in my house. So I'm actually glad that happened now. With her, the money was to be used for property or something like that because he knows that she's terrible with money. They didn't. They wasted it on a trip to Disneyland, Disney World. Just completely fluttered the money away, as well as spending it on crap little children's things like Frozen 2 Funko Pops, shit like that, that little children buy for some reason. They spend all that money on that crap. Embarrassing for adults to do that. We all know how creepy Disney adults are anyway. Um, her boyfriend was always really nice and helpful. He would always help me out when I was moving and stuff like that, just because he's a fairly nice guy. As soon as she did meet him, she completely cut off my mum and my brother. Was before that, they were pretty much the only people that she was in touch with, like constantly. She's talking to my brother like he was a little kid, and just constantly non-stop in touch with my mum every day. As opposed to my dad, where I had to pretty much, after I'd speak to him on the phone or FaceTime, I had to force her to talk to him. Otherwise, she just wouldn't have done. Uh, and then, yeah, since she got a boyfriend, she just cut mum off completely. No one understood why she didn't invite mum or my brother to her wedding when she married this Jamie dude, which everyone said everyone said you should invite her. No, she just refused to. She doesn't know why. There is no reason. She'd be like, "Oh, there are two sides to every story." She doesn't have a side to the story. She doesn't know why. There's no reason. She just always has to have someone to blame things on because she can't take responsibility for anything. So there's always someone to blame. Um, and it's gone from my mum to me now. Ironically, I was in the situation where, as an adult, I've spent pretty much my entire life living with girlfriends. Probably at this point, 95% of my adult life, I was in a relationship and living with a girlfriend. Uh, and then the one time I wasn't, diagnosed with cancer. What happened then was I thought, well, you know, I've spent so much of my life looking after my sister. I think she'll probably be the one to help me out because none of my other family live where I am. When I was diagnosed, they came along with me, really good, really nice, really helpful. It took some convincing. I couldn't understand at first, whenever I asked, okay, I think I've got cancer, I've got to go to the hospital and have tests. Can you come with me? She's always like, no, oh, I can't, oh, no. And then suddenly, oh, yeah, actually, yeah, me and Jamie will come. So I know exactly what happened. She didn't want to. She wasn't up for it. And then Jamie, because he's actually a human being with feelings, he would have been the one that was like, oh, no, actually, yes, we need to go. So he would have been the one to convince her. It wasn't her choice, it was him. Uh, Obviously, I went into the hospital. I was in the hospital for months and months and months. Left the hospital finally, and they let me stay at theirs, which was really, really nice. Really, really good of them. Obviously, Jamie was the driving force behind this. I was very pleased with Katie and Jamie. More Jamie, because he was really the one that was, excuse me, helping me and looking after me. Uh, um, when he wasn't there, Katie would just stay in her room and ignore me. But Jamie actually, yeah, he's a massive respect to him for that. And when I was sick, he would come over and help me out, etc. And then my mum came over from France, did a really, really good job of looking after me. And then my tumour ruptured. I had to get back into the hospital. At this point of time, ever since my mum had come down, I noticed that I'd never heard anything from Katie at all, just nothing. Um, Even when I went into this operation and we told her what was happening, nothing, no good luck, no asking if I was okay. 95% chance I wasn't gonna walk out of there alive or get out of there at all. So after I got home from that a few months later, my mum looked after me, and I said to Kate, "Look, can you please like take mum out for lunch or something?" She's the only person in the family that's looking after me. She lives in another country and she's looking after me, and I'd really appreciate it. She's very stressed, a lot of pressure on her. Um, and Katie went fucking mental at me, and this was honestly completely crazy because I was so out of my head. I'd just come out of hospital, so many drugs. I didn't even know what was going on. But I knew that my mum needed a break. And just asking Katie for that, she was like, no. Really, really, she was really, really unpleasant. And obviously, a lot of drugs. I was unpleasant back to her. She deserved it. She was being horrible. So I was horrible back to her. And then she stopped talking to me, completely cut me off. She'd already done this to my mum and my brother. She cut them both off years ago. Um, as soon as I needed her, gone, done. This disgusting little creature decided to cut me off. Just never heard anything from her ever again. Um, Obviously, people from, I used to do pretty well, have a side job on Twitch. And people from that harassed her. I told them to leave her alone. I don't think that was right. Regret that. I should have let them harass her more. I don't really use Facebook and all that, but she was saying very unpleasant things about me. I was just lying there, like completely out of it, half dead, thinking, what? Where's it? I don't even understand. Literally, and to this day, I don't understand. Don't know why she would choose the only time in my life I've gone from being the strong, confident, leadership type to being someone that needs help. Too much work for her, I think. It's too much work. Couldn't be bothered. So she just cut me off. That's it. Nothing else. And the only time I ever heard from her was people saying, "Oh yeah, your sister's slagging you off. Oh yeah, look at what your sister's been saying." Obviously, her boyfriend says some unpleasant things. I can't blame him too much because you can't blame someone for sticking with their partner. I've stuck with my girlfriends when they've been in the wrong plenty and plenty of times. Um, so I actually, he knows he was in the wrong. He's smart enough. Smart is the wrong word. He's got enough experience in life to know that what she's doing is wrong. I don't keep up with what they're up to. I don't know what they're doing. Don't want to know. Um, to then hear that this disgusting little creature that I sacrificed so much for, almost lost relationships to look after, spent so much money, thousands, tens of thousands on over her life, basically parented, just did to me exactly what she did to my mum, exactly what she did to my brother, exactly what she will do to Jamie, and just cut me off for no reason. Get disgusted. This is, you can tell this isn't a planned video. I'm on a lot of, you know, morphine stuff right now, so this isn't. I'm normally somewhat eloquent. That's not the case now, but that's because I'm just pissed off, and I know she will use my death, which is going to be sooner rather than later at this point. And she will use that to get sympathy, and I don't want that to happen. So when I'm gone, don't accept her. Be like, oh, my brother, I'm so upset. She's, you know, even when her Jamie's mum or gran, I can't remember, one of them died, and she used that not as anything about Jamie. It was like, oh, I'm so sad. Oh, it's all about her. When my dad died, it wasn't about my brothers, Richard and Nikki. It wasn't about me. It was just Katie. Oh, my poor dad. Even though I had to basically force her to speak to him for the best part of a decade. And when he had a stroke and got ill, she didn't contact him at all. If he was alive now, he would be so disgusted and ashamed with her. He would be utterly furious over this. I mean, he wasn't even happy about the wedding situation with my mum, but this is, yeah, he would be furious, rightfully so. Basically, that is the main point of this video. I don't want her to use my death as an excuse to get sympathy, because she gets off on people feeling sorry for her. She's a disgusting creature. She's not clean. She's greedy, selfish. She's unpleasant. Every single family member I've spoken to, I'm not going to name any names because that's not fair, but everyone I've spoken to about her wants nothing to do with her. She isn't part of my family anymore, and I don't think anyone in my family that knows about this wants anything to do with her. She's an awful, disgusting human being who's taken from me my whole life, and I've had no problem with that, and I've gone out of my way to help her. This is like having a child that abandons you, so my mum feels the same. She's taken from me, let me build up her confidence, give her all these life experiences that she wouldn't have, and then just as soon as I need help, which anyone that knows me knows that I've always independent. I don't need help. I don't ask for help. Never had help from anybody until I got sick. And as soon as I just needed a little bit of support in this situation, it was just take my mum out for lunch. She just cut me off for that. For a lifetime of being looked out for, cut me off for that. So please, when I'm gone, don't let her get away with going, oh, my brother's died, I'm so sad. Because that little bitch is not sad. She was happy for me to die knowing that she hated me, that I was in the worst pain you could possibly imagine, and that I likely wasn't going to walk out. She didn't care. And she didn't care that I went under knowing that she didn't care. No one has ever hurt me this much. No one has ever left such a lasting impression. She's actually damaged me psychologically. I genuinely thought she was that one person I could always count on. Nope, she's not. She's shameful. I know you should be watching this video at some point. Maybe when I'm dead. Katie, you're disgusting. You're an awful human being. You should be utterly ashamed of yourself because you're pathetic. That thing you're feeling, that's guilt. You're a horrible human being.